Welcome back, everyone, to another Poppin' Often with Lofton tier list. This is going to be tier list 6.0 for Marvel Rivals. If you guys are like Poppin', I want to know what characters are the best to climb from which rank to the next rank. This is going to be this tier list for you. If you play in a stack or in a team of four, the list might be different. But if you're someone who plays solo or duo or even trio, or you're like, I don't use comms, Poppin', or people, when I use comms, nobody talks to me, stuff like that, this is going to be the list for you. So again, the main question is, if Poppin were to recommend me a character, which character would it be to help me get from point A to point B? Starting off with the first list, we're looking at bronze to diamond. So if you're like, I want to hit diamond as fast as possible, we have these solo carries. These solo carries are the characters that have the ability to impact a match without really needing to do much in general. Once you get better at them, it's even better for you. So the characters up here are generally the characters that are hard to deal with. Even if they don't get KOs, it's just very hard to deal with. The enemy team doesn't understand what to do against you, and you're able to walk all over them. That's what the solo carries are. It's not about how many KOs you get per match. It's about how much pressure you provide. It's about how much tension you cause. It's about how you go unanswered, and you're able to play the game regardless. So that's where I think these characters are, and these are the characters that I think you should play if you're trying to hit diamond as fast as possible. Next, we have coast picks. So coast picks, these are the characters where as long as your team does well, you're pretty good to go. You're going to be chilling. If your team is absolutely atrocious, you might struggle. But for the most part, as long as you're in the game and existing, you can probably get a free win off of it if your team does pretty decently. That's that. You provide enough value without being a hindrance. These are the characters that even if you suck at them completely, you're still providing value just by being in the match. Next, we have hit or miss. Now, hit or miss, these ones are a little bit different. These are ones that either work or they don't. So you would have to really get better at these characters for them to work more consistently for you. Now you might be thinking, well, Poppin, I don't understand why you have Hawkeye and Hela there. Like, those characters are great. What are you talking about? Gambit's great too. What are you talking about? The way that bronze to diamond players play, they do not understand a lot of concepts about the game. When it comes to Hela and Hawkeye, yes, they are strong characters. This tier list is not about who's strong or weak. It's about what can get you to the next rank as fast as possible. You have to understand target priority. This is why a lot of players that play Hawkeye and Hela are like, well, I have 20 KOs, I have 30 KOs, bro, and we still lose. The team, they're so heavy and EOMM. It's because you lack target priority. You need to understand what to shoot and why, and you haven't developed this yet because you are in bronze to diamond. Once you develop this, you become better, and this is why in Grandmaster Plus, this character takes off, right? A lot of these characters kind of take off once you're there. That's how a lot of these hit or miss characters function here in bronze to diamond. It's not because you suck, but it's a lack of skill that you have right now, lack of game knowledge that you have right now to really make it shine as bright as it really could be. Last but not least, we have Outclass, and these are just characters I don't recommend playing. You have way too much to learn, and you have way too much to do to play this. If you guys want to know, if you guys want the full entire explanation on all these characters and why I placed them there, make sure you check the description box, and I'll have a pinned highlighted comment, and you guys can go to that video and you can click your character and you're going to see why I explain everything the way that I do. But this is bronze to diamond. Moving on to Grandmaster to Celestial. So these players have gotten a lot better at playing the game and a lot more efficient at playing their characters. They're still not all the way there, but as they slowly climb from Grandmaster to Celestial, they are evolving and morphing as a player and becoming better and better and better. So the solo carries that we have are, as you see, they changed a little bit, right? Hela and Hawkeye are there, right? The Thing is now up there. Like, all these things are changing. And again, this is because a lot of the players are getting better. They're able to be more efficient with their characters, and how team fights evolve in those ranks are different from how they evolve in bronze to diamond. Coast picks, you see some of them dropped because players know how to deal with some of these characters a little bit easier. Players know how to be on the same page when dealing with a lot of these characters, and that's why they're there. Hit or miss, these are characters that, if they go unanswered, they can probably run a game. If they don't go unanswered, then they'll probably lose. There's no real outclass on this list because at this point, everybody's so understanding about how to play the team fight, or at least how to play the character, that there's value with all of them. And the lack of knowledge or skill isn't really holding them back in terms of being able to win or lose a match. Now, if you're talking about climbing, this is why hit or miss is there, because you still may lose more than you win. You might have coin flippy games. It's just how these characters are designed. It's how they function in a match, especially when, you still have more things to learn about Marvel Rivals, and your team has to also know how to play with you as well, which is another thing you have to hop over in terms of a hurdle when playing the hit or miss characters. Last but not least, we have the Eternity / OneAboveAll. So we have the top solo carries here, pretty much what you would see. These are the characters that are very hard to answer. We have coast picks. These are the characters that you see, some of them got shifted around again. This is mainly due to the fact that players understand how to play with these characters now. Not only do I know how to play them, but my team knows how to play with them, and we all know how to play as a unit together. We're on comms a lot more. I don't use comms at all, so I don't know. People might be hating me for it because we could probably win games a lot easier, but I don't use comms. But a lot of people do once you start entering these ranks. And so people understand, oh, my cooldowns are down and I could play around this. As you see Groot drops, that's because the enemy team understands how to play around walls and things like that. Penny drop because, that type of thing as well. And when we're talking about hit or miss, this one's a little bit different for this rank. By this point, there's a lot of answers to these characters. So when I say hit or miss here, this is more focusing on, are you going to get answered or not? If the Black Panther can play the game unanswered, he's dangerous. But by this point, everybody and their mama in the lobby has an answer. The strats have an answer. The DPS has an answer. The tanks have an answer. Black Panther should not be able to play the game if they all decide to answer them. And that goes for every single character here. There is a hit or miss element to them where it's like if they don't go answered, they run the lobby. If they do go answered to whatever it may be, then they can't play the game anymore. And that's when they're going to need to swap into something that is a little bit more of a coast-friendly pick, or something that is very hard to answer, such as a solo carry. And then in terms of outclass, these are characters that require your team to play with you. And honestly, in a solo queue environment, which is Eternity and OneAboveAll, you can't play with anybody other than an extra duo. In a solo queue environment, in my opinion, having players play around you, 5 players play around you, is pretty rough. And there's also some things that are lacking from these characters. So like Captain America, everybody knows to focus this guy. So unless the team is on the same page as you, when you go in and do things, you're going to get one shot. The flying character is obviously going to get shot out the sky unless they play really well. And then Jeff is just, everybody knows how to do it, Jeff, by this point. So this is the tier list that I made. Obviously, this is just my opinions, of course, but this is how I feel based off my experience from playing in these ranks. Look forward to patch 6.5. I'll be doing a patch notes on that when I stream. And then I also will be doing a tier list for 6.5 as well. We also have some other goodies coming on the channel, so make sure you subscribe, that way you're notified. But until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Popping often. Will often.